Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a doubleheader, a post-fight for the last card and a pre-fight for today's card. So I'll just make it a quick episode, quick little rundown with predictions and afterthoughts of last card. So the last card was UFC Fight Night Overeem versus Volkov, and it was an amazing card to kick off the main card. You had a light heavyweight clash with Danilo Marquez versus Mike Rodriguez. Marquez defeated Mike by technical submission, rear naked choke, round 2. It was a fun, exciting fight, and I believe this was the fight that was added at the last minute onto the main card. Decided to do a prediction on it. So anyways, but good fight. Yeah, then in a lightweight division, we had Beneil Dariush versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Beneil won split decision, but I think it should have been unanimous decision. Easily 29-28, 2 clear rounds. I believe it was like the first and third were clear, unequivocal for Beneil. You could debate maybe round 2 for Carlos, but no way it was a split decision. But the right guy won the fight. Beneil Dariush won, and he's continuing his win streak and looking great. Then in the flyweight division, we had Alexandre Pantoja versus Manel Capi. I believe I said it right. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name, but Pantoja won unanimous decision. Looked great, just outstruck him all the rounds. Then in the lightweight division, we had Clay Guida versus Michael Johnson. Clay Guida won. Unanimous decision, just out wrestling Michael Johnson, made it look easy, and Michael Johnson has a good wrestling background, so that was very impressive. Then in the bantamweight division of the co-main event, we had Corey Sandhagen knockout with a flying knee Frankie Edgar in 28 seconds of the first round. Corey Sandhagen basically needs a title shot now at this point, and he should get the winner of Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan. Then in the heavyweight division, the main event, we had Alexander Volkov defeat Alistair Overeem, TKO punches round 2, and the first round he just dominated Overeem and then finished him in the second round and made it look easy, which is very impressive. But I think Overeem, yeah, he was hurt in that first round, so there wasn't a whole lot he could do. Who knows if that wasn't the case, how this fight would have gone, but Volkov, he's on the short list for a title shot now at this point. Now on to UFC 258 in Usman versus Burns for the UFC welterweight championship of the world. To kick off this main card in the middleweight division, we have Maki Pitolo versus Julian Marquez. I'm going to go with Julian Marquez with ease on this one in the middleweight division. I think he out-wrestles Maki and wins unanimous decision due to takedowns. I don't see this being the most exciting fight, but I think it's a grueling wrestling battle for Julian. Basically, he just shoots those double legs and pushes for him with all his might, all his energy, and gets him eventually. And he wins a unanimous decision due to ground and pound and dominant positions. Then in the featherweight division, we have Ricky Simón versus Brian Kelleher. I'm going to go to Ricky Simón with this one. I think Ricky Simón uses the wrestling. Brian Kelleher has good wrestling, but Ricky Simón, I think MMA wrestling wise, is just on another level, and I think he's going to be pushing for single legs and double leg takedowns, and he's going to get them, and he's going to win unanimous decision. Then middleweight division, we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch. This is sort of old guard versus new guard. Kelvin Gastelum been in the UFC for years. Ian Heinisch still fairly fresh. He's had a handful of fights in the UFC, coming off a big win. But yeah, I've gone back and forth on this one, but I think that Ian can deal with the wrestling of Kelvin, and his footwork and his speed is good enough to avoid any heavy shots of Kelvin. And I think that he's going to knock out Kelvin in this fight. I'll say second round knockout. But it'll be a fun fight. I think there's going to be a finish in this fight, whoever wins. I'll give Ian Heinisch a 60% chance of winning this fight. I don't see Kelvin Gastelum as a massive underdog because he does have good experience with some top-notch competition, and he's fought for a title, and he's an Ultimate Fighter winner, so it's hard to pick against him. But he has been suffering some losses as of late. Ian Heinisch coming off a win after a couple losses, and so he broke his losing streak, and I think his confidence is there, and I think Ian gets it done, second round knockout. Then in the co-main event in the women's flyweight division, we have Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso. On paper this looks like Alexa Grasso could score a big knockout, but I think Macy Barber is going to use the wrestling, get it done, get in, get out, and I think she gets a takedown, and in the first or second round gets a submission. I'll say safer saying second round submission, like arm triangle choke, second round, something along those lines for Macy Barber. So second round sub win for Macy Barber is what I got. Then in the welterweight division in the main event, we have Kamaru Usman, the champ, defending his belt against Gilbert Burns, and I'm going to go with Kamaru Usman unanimous decision. I think he just pushes the wrestling. He doesn't want to stand and bang with Gilbert Burns. He's going to be too smart for that, and Gilbert Burns has heavy hands, and Usman knows that, and he can deal with the guard of Burns and avoid submissions, and I think he will do that, and he will win unanimous decision, and this won't be the most exciting fight on the card. I'll be shocked if it is. I think the big selling point with this pay-per-view is the main card, not so much the main event. But Gilbert Burns does have a fighting chance at winning this thing, but you are a fool if you are skipping out on this pay-per-view, because this pay-per-view, top to bottom, is really good. You got Jillian Robertson kicking off the prelims. She's never in a boring fight. Then this card is just stacked with good veterans, so definitely don't miss UFC 258 live on pay-per-view, and stay tuned for my post-fight show on this card as always. Until then, see ya.